Is Ozempic a weight loss wonder drug? By now we all heard about Ozempic, and it's become so widely popular that in some places they now have an Ozempic shortage. It's become so popular that doctors prescribe it to more and more people, and not just to people living with diabetes, but often to people who want to lose weight. But does taking Ozempic actually make you lose weight? And if so, how? And what about those side effects? Is it worth the risk? Those are the themes we'll be exploring in this video. Let's go. Since Ozempic can help manage blood sugars for people living with diabetes, so that means that it can help lower blood sugars, an obvious question is whether or not this is actually only a diabetes drug, or whether or not the weight loss abilities are large enough that it makes sense for people with or without diabetes to take this drug for weight loss. And this is where it becomes a little interesting, because Ozempic is only FDA approved as a diabetes drug for people who live with type 2 diabetes. But we know that doctors are still prescribing this drug to people who do not live with type 2 diabetes. This can sound all kind of weird, but the fact is that doctors can prescribe Ozempic for patients even if they do not live with type 2 diabetes, and this is called off-label use, and they can do that if they assess that the patient can benefit from the drug. And when it comes to weight loss, doctors prescribe Ozempic because of a very well-known side effect, and that is weight loss. It might not be as effective as Wegovy, an FDA-approved anti-obesity drug that's actually made by the same manufacturer and contains the same drug, just in a different dose, but it has shown weight loss in people living with and without diabetes. But as with everything, there's always exceptions. So in clinical studies with people with type 2 diabetes who took Ozempic, a lot of people lost weight, but some actually gained weight. So this is not magic. It might not work for everyone. However, the studies referenced here indicate that people on average lost 8 to 14 pounds depending on the dose of Ozempic that they were taking. Other studies show Wegovy weight loss to be up to 15%. So this stuff clearly works. But it does seem like the dose makes a significant difference. And with a higher dose might also come more weight loss, but also higher risk of some nasty side effects. And the side effects were one of the main things that I was really curious about when I started researching Ozempic. Because I've heard about the side effects, and I've heard people report that they become violently ill when they start taking Ozempic. So my question has been, well, are they just losing weight because they're constantly ill, throwing up? And is that really worth it? Well, that's fortunately not the whole story. You inject Ozempic once a week, and it works in a few different ways. It helps the pancreas make more insulin, and it also prevents the liver from making and releasing too much glucose into the bloodstream. So those are mainly blood sugar management capabilities, but what it also does is that it slows down how fast food is released from the stomach and also inhibits appetite. So that makes sense, at least I think it does. It improves how effectively your body clears glucose from the bloodstream and also inhibits appetite, so you overall consume less. But back to the side effects, because they seem to be an issue for some people. This is from the FDA label. As you can see here, they only list adverse reactions reported by 5% or more of the population that they tested. And you can see the main issues for people were nausea, followed by vomiting and diarrhea. And it seems to become worse the higher the dose. That all sounds pretty unpleasant to me. But as you can see, not everyone experienced this, and some might have found it too insignificant to even report. So will this happen to you? I don't know, and your doctor might not know either, but I think it's a really good conversation to have with your doctor before you start taking Ozempic. Because Novo Nordisk, the manufacturer of Ozempic, does have some different tips and tricks, let's call it that, on how to limit the side effects of Ozempic. But if you get to a point where the side effects outweighs the benefits of taking Ozempic, you and your doctor need to have a plan in place on how to get off Ozempic again. Another thing to consider is, what should your plan be once you get off of Ozempic? Because if the main goal of taking Ozempic is to lose weight, you don't want to gain all that weight back once you stop Ozempic and your appetite is back to normal. So you might have to learn some new habits in order to maintain that weight loss. And that could be changes to your eating habits and maybe even to your movement patterns. Given I'm not a doctor, of course I can't tell you whether or not Ozempic is right for you. You have to have a conversation with your own doctor and explore that. But what I can tell you is that Ozempic is fairly widely prescribed off-label for people living with type 1 diabetes or people who don't live with diabetes at all. And doctors prescribe it because they think it has a benefit for their patients. If you think this medication might be right for you, I don't see any reason why you can't have this discussion with your doctor. I would also encourage you to have a discussion about outcome expectations, about dosing, and of course also how to get off it once you reach your goal. I'd love to hear some first-hand experience from people who've used Ozempic. So if you've used Ozempic, are you using it, have used it, love it, hate it, let me know. Leave me a comment down below this video. I know I'd love to know, and I'm pretty sure the other viewers would as well. If you like my content, if you'd like to see more from me, remember to subscribe to my channel and turn on notifications. That is that little bell. That way you'll be informed whenever I post new content. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.